Do you have coworkers that are always late or always calling off that causes workflow disruption? Now, I'm not saying that you may be that person, but what I'm saying is those workers that causes disruptions that are not really good workers. I mean, their punctuality, it would count if they came in, far as you wouldn't have to work as hard of that nature. But I'm talking about those workers that are really not good workers, that their physical presence means a lot, but their quality of work is below or at that right just at that average medium line. So you have workers that call off all the time, that abuses the system, and you know they do, because some of them have the nerve to even tell other coworkers, or and even maybe even possibly hint it to you. Do you have workers that say that they don't come in, but then on social media you're seeing them at a restaurant, or you're seeing them at a function, or you're seeing them, walking by the beach or the lakefront, right? Have you ever seen that? Or do you see those workers that are always calling in late, and then when they come in, they have the audacity to leave early? How can you come in late and then leave early? You stop work half hour before it's time for you to quit. And then when they stop, they don't even clean up their work area, depending on where you work, or they don't endorse the problems or endorse what needs to continue to be done if you work at a 24-hour place, or if you need, to have something endorsed to you to solve in the morning, or to solve, later, whatever it may be. I would usually work in facilities that are 24 hours, so work is constant. But then we have workers who would just stop work. They don't, and they're at a station, and they don't care about tidying up that station so that the work can flow easily. They just leave stuff just piled up, walk off, don't explain what's what. You have to come and it's pretty much start all over from scratch. So not only are you trying to catch up from what was left for you, you're trying to actually like figure out what it is. Instead of if someone would just tell you what it is, then you can just like start from there. But no, you have to troubleshoot and figure out what it is. And then you start clearing it up. Not only while you're doing that, your work from your particular shift is piling up. And then by the time you catch up to that, either by the time you get off, now you done left a lot of work for someone else, or you have to stay a little bit over to finish, or stay to the last minute, or possibly do overtime. Who knows? It depends on your, entity, wherever you work, your institution. But those workers that disrupt the workflow because of their tardiness, I can understand if they were quality workers, and you come in and you kind of catch up with the workflow, or you continue the workflow, or you even kind of get it started. But I'm talking about the ones who disrupt it. I mean, by calling off. And it's a pattern. It's like some people call off on, say they'll call off on payday, or they'll call off just before going on vacation, or they'll call off just before the weekend. And they do it like every pay period, right? And it's a pattern. I remember during COVID, where I worked, is a 24-hour facility, and they were giving us an incentive to work 7 days and have 7 days off. So the people that were off, if someone who was working the 7 days couldn't make it, then they would possibly call you in to work that one day or whatever to compensate for that, right? These people, it was certain people, maybe about two. 7 days you're off, and then when the next week comes, you have the audacity to call off. And remember, this is with pay for the whole time, for this whole time period, which was about 3 months. Anyway, these people would call off during the week they're supposed to work. You just had 7 straight days off, but now you call off one day. And it was a pattern. It would happen every pay period, and they were still getting paid, and they were not reprimanded. Because remember, I don't know, depending on where you worked, some facilities didn't really do the discipline thing during COVID. So people were just like getting away with a lot of stuff. There were people that were even like, yeah, I got some $35 round trip tickets to Florida, and I'm gonna, go book these next Monday or Tuesday during the time they're supposed to come in and work. Mind you, that they're supposed to come in and work. Not, I'm saying the day they're saying is like a Sunday, and then they're talking about not that Monday, but the following Monday, because they're supposed to be off the next day, Monday all the way back to Sunday. And then that Monday, a week later, is the day they're booking tickets. Why didn't you just book the tickets for that week you're off? Or maybe 3 weeks later? No. And had the audacity to say it and did it. Did that person get reprimanded when they came back? No. So what they did was they told that person, the person lost their phone or something, couldn't find the phone. So what they did was they were like, well, give us your fiance's phone number, an alternative number. Give us your email. And that way, if anything happens, email us or use the alternative number. Or we'll email you and call you in case you forget or you can't somehow get to the alternative phone. Well, this person did the same thing. On that 2 weeks later, on that week that they were supposed to work, called off. They tried to call that person, no answer. Person came in, had some excuse, and nothing was done. These are the workers I'm talking about, who will call off, who will be late. And you wonder, I always wonder, how much time do you have to be able to do all that? How much time do you have before you get reprimanded? I'm not saying that they need to be reprimanded in front of me, but that someone, if they've been doing it over a year, there has to be a time where they should be almost out the door. But that didn't happen. Luckily, that person did leave after a while, by their own hand, not fired, but just like left for whatever reasons. But the thing is, those are the workers who I'm referring to, because it just baffles me. I just wonder how people can even don't have a conscience of how you're making your coworkers work harder by your absence or by your lateness. Don't get me wrong. There are times where we are late. There are times where we have to be absent. But you know who I'm talking about. There are chronic people that are constantly late, constantly absent, or every pay period, or every week. Some people you may know every week, or maybe it's twice a month. But you know that there's patterns, and you're wondering like, wow, how do they get away with it this long? But I don't know. I just wanted to get on here, subscribe, and like. If you're okay with my subject matters, these just randomly kind of come to me. So, and I do have more content. If you like the content, let me know. I want to hear from you. I enjoy hearing from you.